Sure. Okay, Aleinu, page 363 in our version. This is also recited standing. This is the prayer which is said like at the conclusion of basically every Jewish service, and basically it's about how we're sort of obligated to praise the ruler of the world, and it goes on about his greatness, and then we bow down to him, the King of all kings, and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
On and on in that vein.
Exactly. Praying for a time, a messianic era, in which there's worship of one God. And yeah, great. Craig, did you get this sheet? You want to do the next one? Are you ready?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, Shalom Aleichem.
Yep.
So in Koran CD 375, we sing it at the Shabbos table, and basically the song is based on a Talmudic passage that describes angels that accompany a person home from shul, and then they bless the family there.
And what's on the page right before it, I just added this for the next cohort, next time around, is we have a blessing for the children. And parents are supposed to bless their kids, whatever age their kids might be, on the previous page. And this, not only do we do this every Friday night, but this also has significance. It gets elevated as well because it's also said, many have the custom to say it, at the Bedekin. So right before a child gets married, there's the Bedekin, in which the groom comes to veil the bride, in which there's a big celebration. It's very exciting, and it's one of the best moments of a wedding. And at that moment of sheer joy, parents and grandparents bless the groom and the bride. Both bless both, right? Right. Both parents bless both sets of kids with these words on page 373, the page before Shalom Aleichem. But we also say it every Friday night. So if you have children, Lior and Yoko, you should definitely incorporate this into your Friday night meal, right before or after Shalom Aleichem. Okay.
Okay.
Eitan?
We on HHIL. It is the song about a woman of strength, alphabetical process. Describes a woman as active, practical, a businesswoman, a director of the household, of wisdom and of kindness.
Yeah, so a lot of feminists don't like this.
Really?
This prayer, but there's a lot of it. Really it does hold, especially for the time in which it's written, a very expansive view on what women can do.
Yeah.
So I mean, I happen to think it's quite nice, and think that it's important that, especially given that we haven't left the patriarchal world in any kind of society, it's important that we take a moment to show respect to women who might not get the appreciation that they should in the larger society or in Judaism.
Why would someone consider this, like, I mean, why would it be offensive to?
Well, there's a lot of, I would say probably two reasons. One, besides for the focus on business, there's a lot of more domestic, quote-unquote, praising of domestic work. And the other element is, if you're really talking about a totally egalitarian world, then why are you only praising the women? There should be a prayer for men too. The fact that there isn't means that it continues to be rooted in a patriarchal world in which the man has to then thank the woman because the man is of a position of power to thank the woman. So I happen to think we shouldn't be complaining about thank yous, but you should certainly check with your wife or your significant other if they if they want it, because if they you should certainly offer it and encourage it, but if a woman does not want it sung to them, then it would sort of defeat the purpose if you sang it to them.
Next one.
Jackie?
Okay, Kiddush on Friday night on page 383. So this is the Kiddush that we do at home. And it has three elements. The first is a biblical reading that references the first Shabbos when Hashem created or completed creation and rested. And then it's the blessing over the wine, and then a blessing over the day itself. And we talk about the two fundamental beliefs, creation and Exodus 26.
Great. And so who says this Kiddush?
The man of the household.
Try again.
Really? I don't know.
Kiddush on Friday night.
So this is a mitzvah that is incumbent upon men and women, period. It's incumbent upon all adults. Now, this mitzvah can be fulfilled by when one says it for another, right? Not every person has to do it themselves. If you say Amen to the bracha, then it's as if you said it. But since men and women have an equal obligation to say Kiddush, so men or women could say Kiddush for their family.
Okay.
So then men and women have an equal obligation to say Amen after this type of blessing?
Yes.
Ah. That's interesting. I never knew that.
Traditionally, in Ashkenaz families, does the man usually say it or not?
Usually the men say it. It's very common for the men to say it, but women can very much say it, and they should say it. And if there are no men, they shouldn't get a man to say it. For them, they have a mitzvah just as much as men do. If they want to say it, they can say it. There's yeah. Is there connection problems? A bunch of people have been jumping in and out of class. What's going on?
We can
between Elena and Emily and.
We can hear you very, very well, so we don't have any issues with the connection.
I have a problem. I don't
You have a
know
problem.
what.
They see you come in and then you came out, and
Yeah.
Emily also had that problem, right? Is it your wireless or is it something else? You don't know.
This is wires.
I don't know. Emily, you remind me of like the Little Mermaid. You can't talk. Little Ariel. Sorry. Had that. Okay, childhood memory. I've said too much. Okay, Elena, you want the next one? You probably don't know where we are. We just came out to class. So we'll give you a little bit to catch up to that. Carrie?
Smirot? Right. Okay, so our edition, which is going to be about 30 pages off, we're at page 419 to 431. It said singing around the Shabbos table, and in so many ways to celebrate Shabbat. To get us excited about the restful day to come.
So in years back within this class, a few cycles ago, I think this might be my fourth time through the class, or my third time through the class. I can't remember. But there was one period in which the first 5 minutes of class. This is when we were in person. We used to meet in person in the shul, which is obviously a lot less practical with today's class. But I used to spend the first 5-10 minutes singing Zmirot on your random Wednesday night, so that the class would learn the songs and the tunes and be able to incorporate them at their own home. Because as much as we point this out, it doesn't help very much if you don't know how to sing it. But I would encourage you. It's really beautiful. So try to remember tunes that you hear at other people's homes, and just get that in your head, so that when you have your home, you could create these. You could sing these Shabbat songs and teach them. Have them with your guests and with your children, yada yada. Okay. Greg?
Birkat Hamazon. Again, our pages are a little bit off, but for us it's right around 1,005.
For us, it's 975.
Obviously, well, not obviously, but we're sitting around the table after.
There we are.
And this is recognizing Shabbat, and it's a grace after meals. This is also would be found in our venture, if you have that.
Yes, exactly. Great.
Carrie wants me to read what she wrote because she's proud of it. It's recognizing Shabbat and hoping for a.
No, on Shabbat we say Ritzay. That's the important part.
Oh. On Shabbat we say Ritzay, recognizing the Shabbat and hoping for a. That doesn't make sense. Anyways.
Or a true day of rest.
A true day of rest. Anyways, I think you get the point.
And what if you forget Ritzay?
Question. So the question's like, do you have to repeat the Birkat if you forget Ritzay?
And Ritzay, you said, Ritzay is on page 983, in the bottom. So if you forget Ritzay, what do?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we have to repeat.
Yes, you do. Exactly. You have to repeat the whole benching if you forget Ritzay. And that's for both Friday night dinner and Shabbat lunch, but you don't have to repeat if you forget it for Sudash Lishi. Mishal Shivs. Okay.
What's the reason for that?
Yes, because in theory, Sudash Lishi, you could get away with the meal without having bread. So since you don't need to bench for this meal anyway, the fact that you didn't really bench with Ritzay doesn't hurt you that much, because you didn't need to have bread in that meal. You could have had, other foods, and that would have been fine, according to many opinions. Emily, you want to give it a shot? See if you can talk, or you can't. I don't know how noisy it is where you are. No, okay. Ariel, stay like you are. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll just call you that. Misata, you want to go next? Oh, did we just lose Misata just as I called her name? Wow. Well, I hope I don't do this to you too. Sylvia? Sylvia? This is spooky. Okay, Lior, come on. Don't die on me now.
So we're on 46, right?
We are now on the next section, which is Shabbat. That's Shabbat
okay.
prayer of Shacharis and Musaf.
Okay, so for the following Shabbat prayer of Shacharis and Musaf, please give the page number, physical. So the first one is Birkot HaShachar, which we have in page 27 in the Siddur. Right?
Yes, well, it's the same exact Birkot HaShachar as before. The Birkot HaShachar isn't just page 27, right? It's the whole beginning.
Yeah, it's the
page 5, page 7, page 9, at page 27, 29, 31, all of that still applies, even though it's not a weekday. Don't think, oh, it's Shabbos, we're going to go straight to where it says the word Shabbos. No, that starts also here.
But, okay, so you mean Birkot HaShachar is basically from page 5 onwards?
Yes, but technically you're right. Birkot HaShachar is the morning blessings, is page 27, but really it's the whole section from page 5.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Yoko, you want to do the next one? Yoko asking me if I can say the next one for her.
Okay, well, it's okay, Yoko, you can skip. We'll be fine. Sylvia, should we try you again? Okay, we don't have to. I think we have Misato and Gabe back online.
Hi, Rabbi.
Hey guys, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Where are we?
Yeah, that's
Where art thou? We are
Number 2, C2, right? Pesukei de Zimran?
Yeah, for Shabbat.
For Shabbat. Okay. You know what? We're not up to that. I'm sorry.
Okay. You needed more time. We should have even
Yeah.
more weeks for the Tefillah unit. I'm just kidding. Just playing around.
Yes.
It's not long enough. That's okay.
Sorry.
No. I couldn't resist with that joke. I'm sorry that it was at your expense.
Never mind. It's okay.
Good. Ben, you want the next one? We're back in the beginning. And Angie is the first one.
So, Pesukei de Zimra for Shabbat, in our version, it begins with Baruch She'amar on page 401.
And 403 in our version.
Okay, and then it goes for a while to 443 in ours.
What does that end with?
It ends right before Nishmat.
No, so Nishmat is still part of Pesukei de Zimra.
Oh, that is true. It continues all the way up until is Shochen Ad at the beginning of the next section? Or is that also Pesukei?
It's still Pesukei de Zimra.
That's the Pesukei de Zimra. Does it go all the way to Shema or to Baruch? It goes to Baruch.
Well, really, it goes to Yishtabach. Yishtabach is on page 451 in my siddur. So that is the whole Pesukei de Zimra, and it's the same exact structure as the weekday one, with Baruch She'amar to begin with, and Yishtabach to end, with Ashvei in the middle. However, what's different about the Shabbat one versus the weekday one?
There's some additional. It's longer.
It's a lot longer. Yeah, there are a whole slew of extra psalms that we say, and extra hymns that are added. Exactly. Which brings us to the next one of Shochen Ad. Angie? Oh, and by the way, you can say that standing and sitting depending on what it is. There's most of it you can sit, but some of it we stand.
Yeah, so I found that on page 447.
So yeah, and our siddur is 449. And how does it function?
How does it function? I'm not totally sure.
So it's the place where we switch. So whoever is davening Shacharis usually takes over at this point. At Shochen Ad. But this distinction that I just mentioned with Ben is important. When I first came to the shul, I think it was, I can't remember if it was my interview Shabbat or if it was my first Shabbat there. I think it was my first Shabbat. I was there for my very first Shabbat, I think. Or maybe it was my Prabha Shabbos, I don't remember. Anyway, so I came, first time, and then someone came up to me and said, so should we daven what our custom is in our shul? And I was like, of course, far be it from me. I'm not going to tell you to change your custom. You should certainly do your custom. Absolutely. And so they said, okay. So he marched right up on. They said, okay, let's begin davening then. So he marched right up on top of the bima and started on page 449. Shochen Ad Marom Mekadosh Shemo. And I thought to myself, oh boy, something's wrong here. What's wrong?
They skipped the beginning.
Yeah, and why is that relevant?
I think because isn't Shochen Ad sort of like the cap on that first section?
Right, it's in the middle. It's sort of like saying, I'll do my custom, and then for saying the blessing over bread, and you sit down at the table and you said, Lecha min haaretz, and then you start eating. Well, where's the whole Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Hamotzi? You missed the whole first half of the bracha, right? It's one long bracha, and it begins at Baruch Shamar, and it ends with Ishtabach, and there's a significant high point at Shochenat where there's a cantorial switch. Okay, but that's not. You're missing the whole big picture. So I had to make some changes. I didn't want to, because when you're a new rabbi, you really shouldn't rock the boat too much. When you're a new leader of any kind, you shouldn't rock the boat too much in the beginning. Wait till you see first. But I was in a bind. I had to do it. And this is besides for skipping over all of Birkat Shachar. That's besides for that. But some people maybe say it at home, that's okay. Okay, and that's why it's important also that I reiterate it for you all, because sometimes you may not come as soon as davening starts at 9 o'clock or 9:30 or wherever your shul is. Maybe you come like 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late, and they're already in the middle of Sukkot Zimra, and you're like, oh no, maybe I should catch up. Like, no, don't catch up to wherever you are. You can't just go in the middle. You have to, if you're gonna, after your morning blessings, you have to start with Baruch Shamar before jumping anywhere else. It's part of A. I appreciated those who smiled when I said coming 10 minutes late. Something to work towards. To come only 10 minutes late. Okay, Craig?
Are we on Baruch Hu?
Yeah.
So that's on page 455 in Koran. So it's said only in the presence of a minion, and it serves as a formal invitation or summons to the community to engage in collective prayer.
Great, and it marks the and it's separate. It's the beginning of one of the more primary sections of the service. The blessings around the Shema.
And it's people. You're not supposed to have conversation, I guess, until after the Amida at this point.
Right. Well, you're not really supposed to have a conversation during Pesukei Zimra either, because it's in the middle of a bracha.
Oh.
Right. It's still one bracha, so you're in the middle of a bracha. You can't talk in the middle of a bracha. You can't, sort of hamotzi lechem. Oh wait, tell me about those Mets. Lechem min haaretz. No, you wouldn't do that.
Fair.
Eitan?
Blessing the bracha before Shema. So it starts with the Baruch Hu, and then it ends, which is on page 455, and then it ends with on page 469. I believe these are all said sitting. What is different from week tape to Tefillah? The first blessing is enlarged in honor of Shabbat because the theme is creation, and Shabbat is to remember and honor the work of creation.
And the second blessing is identical.
And that's 457.
That's 457, yeah.
59. 69. 469. The second blessing is 469.
Oh no, sorry. Maybe the first. Yeah.
I think I meant the creation one.
Yeah. The creation one is on 4. Wait.
Well, the creation one ends on 467 with Yotzer HaMe'orot. Right,
Yeah.
it's the same theme. It's the same creation, revelation, redemption.
Yes.
Jackie?
And the Shema is it's starting on page 471. And we've seen this before. You cover your eyes with your right hand on the first verse and you listen.
Great. By the way, I want to throw something out. Hopefully this doesn't scare you. Hopefully it will give you, feed your excitement. Tell me if this excites you. I have a feeling it won't excite you, but it is exciting. I think it's exciting. So because we're spending so much time with this in a very methodical way, where I'm hoping that it's not killing you and boring you to death too much. My hope, though, is at the end, really, you will know this siddur well. So I'm wondering if we can have a game when we finish this unit, in which, you I see the widening eyes, in which you open up to a random page multiple times and see if you could figure out what its purpose is in the service. Like, you just take your siddur, you open it up, you're like, oh, I'm in the Shabbat Amidah, in the middle of the Shabbat Amidah. This is said on Shabbat. for Shacharis, and I said it feet together. Da, da, da. Or if I say the opposite, can you keep your books closed, keep your papers away? Now find the Shema for Shabbat. You can open up the page and quickly find the Shema for Shabbat. That's your, right away. I think I'm hoping that this class will have given you the facilities to do that. Does that sound like fun? No.
It's like the test for the sommeliers, where they taste the wine and they have to figure out what region it's from, what type of grape it is, what vintage. So we're like sommeliers of the corn siddur.
Exactly.
Sommelier of the siddur. That's a cool little marketing thing.
Maybe we'll do it for our paper class. When we join together for the paper class, you'll bring your siddur with you, and we'll have a little game for a little while to see if we could figure it out.
Maybe that's just my paper. I compare and contrast being, understanding the siddur with being a sommelier.
Okay. Well, anyway, sorry for that little hiatus. I was thinking about that. Thinking about making it fun. Now, this might totally stress you out, but...
Or at our Shabbaton.
Oh, yeah. Or at the Shabbaton, which if you haven't filled out the doodle, please fill out the doodle. Rebecca is giving birth soon. I don't know when, but she's due in April. So please fill out the Shabbaton because we're probably not doing it after April. That's not going to happen for a little while. So, Elena, do you want to do the next one?
Oh, I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Craig?
Oh, about the Shema, when you the final paragraphs when you're supposed to kiss the tzitzit. What happens if in the event that you're not married or not bar mitzvah, depending on custom, and are you supposed to kiss your talit katan, or you're not kissing anything?
Mm-hmm, yeah, you would kiss your talit katan.
Okay.
Your tzitzit that you're wearing underneath your shirt. Yep.
Okay.
So
another good reason to wear a tallis when you're 13. So you don't have to stick your hands in your pants and try to figure it out and like, oh, where is this? And then your shirt becomes untucked. Another good reason to wear a tallis. If you haven't heard my rant on wearing a tallis when you're 13, just know that it'll come when the time is right. It'll come. Elena, do you want the next one?
yeah, I'm a dumb. So it's 481. You need to standing with feet together, and Amida is repeating aloud by the leader. What else?
First we say it quietly, and then after we're done, the leader does next. Yeah. But we go first, quietly.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way till page 495. Great. Emily, is it quieter now in your wherever you are, or still no? No. If you're hesitant, it's okay. It's okay. Carrie, I just don't want to leave you out of an opportunity if you wanted it. Carrie?
Kedusha?
Yeah.
You said on ours is page 515. You guys are a little earlier than us.
483.
Great. We are standing with our feet together. We rise on our toes for a couple of key portions. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. And then also at Baruch Kavod and Imloch. It is only said with a minyan, out loud, with a call and response from the leader in the congregation.
Great. Greg?
The removal of the Torah from the Ark. This is getting just to where we are up on questions.
So you also wanted us to be later.
Interestingly, we have a gap and then we pick up again because we were working separately. So for us, it's on page 532. It said standing.
For us on page 499.
And
and it's
yeah,
the start of reading.
It's the it's the brachot and getting ready to read the Torah.
Well, first, before we get to the removal of Torah first, so we have that. So the ark opens with Vayihi ben Soharon on the bottom of 499, and then we recite this this paragraph from the Zohar on page 503. Then the ark comes out, and we repeat Shema and Echad Elokeinu on page 503, and then the Torah gets paraded back to the bima to be read.
Thank you.
Great. Lior, do you have the next one?
Yes. Which one? Kedusha?
No. We are on Birkat HaChodesh.
Oh, Birkat HaChodesh is 527, and it says on Shabbat before Rosh Chodesh.
Great. And yep. And usually the molad is announced. The molad is the first sighting of the new moon over Jerusalem. That's announced. In our shul, we make a little joke out of it, and we try to announce it in Yiddish because that's the formulation that we have in our little book. So it becomes kind of fun. We give a Yiddish lesson, which really is just a Yiddish lesson to me because I'm the one who doesn't know how to speak Yiddish. Anyway, be that as it may, Sylvia. I know you've had a lot of trouble tonight. Are you able to do the next one? I don't think so. Okay. Angie and Ben, we're back to you. Keep flying. This has got to be almost over, right, guys? You know, we are almost over. This is like, we could do this. Maybe not this class, but maybe next class. We could be done. I think I have to send you the next unit.
So the returning of the Torah starts on 527 for us and ends on 531.
Okay, so for us it's on 531 on the bottom and it ends on 535. Great. And what happens? How does this go?
You're standing and there are a bunch of things read. It's really similar to what happens when you take it out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, but specifically, so when the Chaz and the Shliach Tzibor takes the Torah and says Yehalu Hashem Hashem, and then we as the congregation respond by saying Hodo al Eretz Hashemayim, etc. And then the Mizmor LeDavid is often sung if it's Shabbat, and if it's not Shabbat, if it's like a holiday that falls out on a Monday or something, then it's LeDavid. And then Uvnuchu Yomar is said when the Torah is being put back into the Ark. It's the Aron Kodesh. All said standing, because the Torah is standing. So whenever the Torah is elevated, we stand. Great. Thank you, Angie. Hope I didn't steal too much from you.
Not a thing.
I think I'm anxious to get moving. So with this unit, sorry, I shouldn't put that anxiety on you guys. I'm sure you're fine. Ben, you want the next one?
Sure. Well, you skipped the all-important rabbi's sermon. I won't object.
Oh, yes, yes, thank you. That is where the rabbi usually speaks, right after the Torah is put back into the Ark and before Musaf.
So Musaf in ours goes from 533 to 551, and it's basically the motions are like the Shachar Damidah. You say it quietly, standing feet together, and then there's a repetition that comes afterwards. But the text is different. At least the middle section is different. The beginning and the end is the same.
Exactly. It's always the first three and the last three are always going to be the same. The middle is different. Right. And the Musaf represents the Musaf Amida, the additional. Musaf means additional, added. The additional prayer that is added to correspond to the additional prayer that was that was given on Shabbat. So that sort of corresponds to that. And I've heard rabbis try to also say that the matriarchs are sort of behind this prayer. If Shacharis is created by Abraham and Mincha is created by Yitzchak and Yaakov inspired Ma'ariv, so I've heard it said that Musaf was inspired by the matriarchs, the Imahot. Which is, I've just put this together right now, which is ironic because so many women only come to shul for Musaf. That's all they come to shul for because they come so late, unfortunately, which is a big problem because people should come to shul on time. Men and women should come to shul on time. But for those who do come late and they come for Musaf, it's interesting if that is the inspiration of Musaf. Just thought of that right now. Craig?
I actually wasn't able to get up to this.
Okay, that's okay. There's a theme here. Eitan?
Kedusha?
Oh, the Kedusha on 541. Stand with your feet together, rise on your toes. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Is there anything different from Musaf?
And Baruch and Yimlof.
Yeah, yes. Is there anything different for Musaf?
I mean, it's just different words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's often sung. Because by now the shul is as packed as it's going to be. So. Jackie?
The next one, in Kalakenu, is a hymn, 1-557.
Remember we sang this, Jackie, in class?
In Hebrew?
Yeah, didn't we sing this in class? In Hebrew class?
Oh, yeah, we did. I didn't put that together, but yes, I do remember that.
I remember you practicing it.
There is none like our God, and it's a poetic introduction to the reading of the passage about incense offering.
Great. Carrie, I think we're up to you.
Right, Elena, I'm guessing.
Oh yes. Do we? Yeah. Are you?
I'm good. Elena's for us, page 599.
563.
It said, "Standing we bow at Va'anachnu Korim." And in the same way, it serves as kind of a part of a closing, like it does elsewhere.
Exactly. Greg?
Adon Olam for us is on 613.
Oh, that's appropriate. What's 613? Anyone know 613?
The number of mitzvot.
The number of mitzvot in the Torah, exactly.
For us,
it's on page 577.
For us, sorry, it said standing, and it's sitting.
Why don't you just read whatever?
It said whatever you want. Adon Olam is often said while wrapping up your talus.
That's true.
The davening is over.
It's a closing hymn for Musaf.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Sylvia, are you back? No. I don't think so. And Gabe Misato, we should keep going, right? We should lasso in Lior?
I can do this one.
Okay.
So Kiddush is on page 579.
So I think we have the same version, no?
We do. Well, it says Kiddush. Okay, it's the start of the section. Kiddush Rabbah, 581. That one.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I believe we say it's standing, but
So many have
Sephardi
accustomed to
say
sit, and many
sitting.
have accustomed to stand.
Right. So either way, set over wine, and am I overstepping? Is there another question for the bread?
Nope, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Great. Misato, do you want the next one, or should we bring Lior in?
Which one?
You got it right here.
No, which one?
Zmira.
Shabbat lunch Zemirot.
Right here.
Zero. Oh, okay. 583. And
Although, I gotta be honest, I've never heard anyone sing this song, 583. I've never heard anyone who knows a tune to this song. So it really starts by 585. Because Baruch Kel Elyon is the only one I've ever heard people sing at the start of Zemirot. You know, there's that one. Yom Zemachubad is another good one. Yom Shabbaton is a good one. I don't know Shabbat Hayom Hashem. I heard one person sing that song once, but the two never fit. So it's kind of strange. Anyway, we can go on.
Sitting down at the table, right? Said
What?
sitting.
Yeah,
Said
yeah, exactly. Sitting and singing.
Okay.
Exactly. And then Lior, Birkat Hamazon?
975 to like 998 or something.
Exactly. Great. Said after the meal. Perfect. Okay, let's keep plowing forward. Ben and Angie, you're up next. I'm not going too fast for y'all, right? You okay?
Nope. So we're on page 589 for Ashrei for Mincha.
And for us, it's page 595. Great.
And it's Ashrei, as it has been before, said as an introduction to the prayer service.
Great, and Ashrei here acts as a praise before the song, before we don't want to just jump into the Amidah without any kind of preparation, so Ashrei acts as a preparation beforehand to get us in the praise mode beforehand. Ben?
Uval Etzion is on page 591. It's the same Uval Etzion, which is said during Shachar, during the week, but now it's said at Mincha.
So here's a trivia question. So why do, if we say Uval Etzion during Shachar is during the week, why did we push it off on Shabbat, the Mincha? Why isn't it said also on Shabbat in the morning?
So it's said after studying, and I guess the idea is that over before Mincha, you've spent Shabbat studying Torah.
Oh, very nice, very nice. That's a nice idea. So the answer that I heard, your answer is a lot nicer than mine. The answer that I heard was that we don't want Uval Etzion is long, and we're just going to delay people. So Shacharis is already long. Let's keep it short. So let's cut it out of Shacharis and put later, because it would be too much for the congregation. To which I only chuckle, because modern Orthodox congregations schlep and schlep and schlep. Because the morning service takes forever. If only they knew how long the morning service, this would be a drop in the bucket. It would be nothing added on to an already very, very long service, which needs to be shortened. But you've heard that rant of mine before. Okay, Craig, I think we're sorry. We topped out. Eitan?
Kaddish, which was for Mincha was 601.
Yep. Semicolon separates the elements. Jackie?
Removal of the Torah on page 603 for Mincha.
And the bottom of 601 also.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
Same as before. Almost. A little bit shorter, a little less elaborate, like the weekday one. And we read the Torah on Shabbos Mincha. What do we read, by the way?
We read a section from the next week's parsha, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The next week's parsha. Okay, Carrie, you get the next one.
The Haftorah. You know,
Did you get this far? No. Okay. Anyone get this far?
Yeah.
Go for it.
605, Haftara.
What?
I think it's 605.
So the 605 is the blessings that we would say on the Torah itself, and then when the Torah is put back into the ark.
Right, but the Haftara is said before you put the Torah back, right?
Well, where's the blessing on the Haftorah then?
Oh.
Anybody? Anyone know the answer to this question?
It's 607.
What?
607.
607 is when we bring the Torah back.
No.
Yes, Angie? It sounds like you want to say something?
I have a working theory that this is a reference to the note about the trick question, and that it's actually not said.
Yes. Did I? Yes. Yes. Haftorah is not said during Mincha. There is no Haftorah during Mincha. Haftorah is only during Shacharis on Shabbos. You will not find it anywhere in Mincha. Excellent. And that wasn't that fun. That was so much fun.
So fun.
I can't believe it.
I gave you a hint, right? Excellent. Okay. And we get to end, almost end on the laughter. Isn't that fun? Okay, so back to you, Carrie.
Okay.
A real question?
Right?
What?
So we're back onto the Amida?
Yeah.
All right. That's for us page 647.
609.
And it, continues for 20-something pages.
No, only like, 12.
Fine.
It's a lot shorter.
Oh, you're right. This is actually quite a bit shorter. But still in the same fashion, we're standing with our feet together. If there is a minyan, then we say it quietly, and then it's repeated aloud. We bend with our knees at the first words of the first two blessings, and then also during Modim. Anything else I'm missing in there?
Yeah, you said the word quietly. So I know I've said this in the past, but I just had this experience today. So I was at Memorial Sloan Kettering, teaching the students today. That's where I was today for during the working hours. And at 4 o'clock we have a mincha minyan at the hospital. So a lot of the doctors and patients' family members and sometimes patients and other folks come to daven. So we davened mincha. There's another side story which is interesting, which I'll tell you in a minute. So during the Amidah, I sort of experienced it as the appropriate kind of quiet that I was referring to. So a lot of times when you go to modern Orthodox shuls and during the Amidah, it is silent. Silence. You can't hear anything. I mean, you can hear. It's as if it's an empty room. It's almost no different from an empty room, which is very challenging if people are supposed to hear their own words that they're saying out of their mouth. So the shul the minyan that I davened in, today, which was a ragtag kind of minyan. You have people from really across the Orthodox spectrum and even non-Orthodox came to daven. So it was quiet, but it was not silent. You heard there was like this hum of lots of different voices. You couldn't make out any of them. You couldn't even distinguish who was saying what, but you just heard this sort of low buzz because everybody was saying it at just the right decibel for themselves, but not for their neighbor who was standing right next to them. So I just was reminded, this is the ideal form, not this sort of too puritanical, strict, absolutely silent, and no one, there's no noise whatsoever, and you can't even hear your own voice. the other little side anecdote from today, and I realized that I want to finish this section because we have like one more left, and we'll get to it. The other section was there was a woman who came to Mincha today, which is unusual because usually only men come as Mincha at this Sloan Kettering minyan. Now, why is that unclear? I don't know. Ironically, actually, this is a case in which somewhat, I think, the directors of the chaplaincy department's liberal values ends up creating an unfair, has unintended consequences negatively. So she does not. It's an Orthodox minyan essentially, but she insists. This is a Unitarian minister who's the director of the chaplaincy department. Insists that we're not going to have a mechitza in the minyan. No mechitza. So practically, what that means is that women don't come. Because there's no mechitza, they don't feel comfortable coming, so they don't come. So ironically, her insistence on being liberal to not have this, what she sees as this offensive divider, ends up kicking women out of the whole scene entirely. They're not even there in the space whatsoever. So I've tried to explain this, whatever, it's not. So today, there was a woman who was sitting in the pews. Right, there are a few rows of pews, and there was a woman sitting in the pews right there, and she had a sitter, and she was saying Tehillim as we were waiting for davening to start. And finally, a minyan showed up, and and she stayed, and we all davened, and it was no problem whatsoever, and it was no halachic problem either, because it was not this kind of minyan in which we don't have regular women attending all the time. There's no issue for there to be a mechitza, because if women sort of like come in, it's totally fine. So if you're ever in a situation in which you're sort of in a more random space where there is no mechitza, you should definitely not, if you're female, not go because there's no mechitza, or if you're male, feel like you can't daven because there's no mechitza, because you can have, if a woman, okay, she's there, so you could daven, it's fine. It's not a problem. Rav Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva about this, in which in Europe, they used to have women come in, and they used to, say Kaddish for when they were mourners, and they would just record them in. And there was only one section. There was the men's section, and they just stayed there to daven and say Kaddish when they needed to. But it wasn't like a regular occurrence. If it's a regular occurrence in a shul, then it should have a mechitza, of course. So interesting tidbit. I did try to track her down and I chased her down because she was one of the first ones out of shul, and I said, I hope you feel welcome even though you're the only woman, because it's you should, whatever. I tried to make her feel like it's okay for her to come to davening and not like, oh my goodness, there are no women here, it's all men, I'm never coming back. Like, no, you can come, it's okay. Anyway, Tzidkas Chatzedek. Does anyone want to do this one? Last one, so we can finish off Mincha. Sorry for my little story. I just want to end on this note. Someone take it.
I did.
Save the class.
I did that.
Please.
Kedusha or Tzidkatcha?
Tzidkatcha. Oh, sorry. Kedusha. Right. I forgot. We didn't do Kedusha. Fine. Kedusha is just on page 611, and it's the same as the weekday for weekday morning and a weekday mincha. Tzidkatcha.
623.
And it is not said when. It is not always said. Sometimes you skip it.
Not said on days where there's tachnun.
Yes, when we say tachanun, when we don't say tachanun, then we're not going to say tzidkascha. So when's the day we don't say tachanun?
I don't know.
Basically, all the chagim, right?
So if it's a chag, right? If Shabbos falls out on a holiday, we don't say tachanun. Exactly. When else?
The whole month of isn't it the whole month of Elul?
Exactly. Rosh Chodesh. If Rosh Chodesh is that day or the next day, yeah, on Hanukkah, and if it's any kind of a holiday or things like that, or often the day before a holiday, then we would not say tzidkascha. And then after that, it's Aleinu. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Good night, everybody, and I hope that we had a lot of trouble with people getting on and off.